So I can tell you on one hand, I have one hand of friends that know who I am and what's happening in my life beyond what's happening in Facebook. Show up with all of my mess, with broken parts of me. It's so important to have rich ones like that you can say, here's my mess. And I also am so available to them too for their mess. And I love them through it and they love me through it.
Welcome to Fated to Fabulous, the podcast for women who know that midlife is not the end. It's the beginning of something bold. I'm Kim Lovely, and I'm here with Vicki Kirby. We're here to talk to you about health, hormones, confidence, and joy. Midlife isn't about fading away. It's about stepping into your power and shining brighter than ever. Let's get into it.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, ladies.
We're going to talk about friendships today. Our title is Friendships That Evolve, How to Nurture or Release Friendships Gracefully. We thought this would be an important topic for those of us in midlife.
Yeah, in this stage of life. So, Vicki, I heard that you had a really funny story to share with us. So I want to hear the funny story.
It's not necessarily a funny story. It's just a story. First, I want to say thank you. The thank you is to you because your vision was for us to do this podcast. And I think I was in a space where my energy wasn't what it needed to be. And you were like, no, I'm excited. Let's do this. And I was like, all right, Kim, we'll do this podcast. This has been so fun. Yeah. And the feedback that we've gotten is excellent. But the funny part of this is I came home with flowers one day from work from your husband. No, nothing scandalous happening here, folks. And it was like he gave me this really nice note that was like, you guys are doing a great job on your podcast. I was like, oh my gosh, congratulations, whole thing. I come home, Matt's like, why do you have flowers? And I was like, well, it was from Kim's husband to say, great job on the podcast. He goes, what podcast? And it's so
Seriously?
This is a very attentive man who listens. But I think that we've done so much stuff that he's always like, what are you doing? I'm like, we're going to this talk.
Now? Yeah.
We're giving a talk here.
We're going to Dallas.
We're on somebody's, So I think for him, it just kind of was a thing. So the funny thing was, he's like, oh my gosh, well, I'll need to listen to them. And so we went to Maine this past weekend. And I'll admit, honestly, I don't listen. Like, I have a hard time listening
to yourself.
To myself. Yeah. It's just
makes you cringy.
It does. It makes me cringe hearing my own voice. Anywho, I'm trying to get past that, and also trying to be more mindful of, like, when I'm actually watching them, looking at the big picture of what it is we're doing, and not being like, oh my gosh, you didn't curl the back of your hair. The dumb things that we do. Why did you make that face? Anywho, so we listened to binge listen to them on the way to Maine this past weekend. And it was really funny because after the first one, you do your little intro and outro there. Yeah. He's like, these are like a real podcast. I'm like, yeah, it's a real podcast. And so then
what did he think we were doing? Like from Cracker-Jack box?
He's seen us do so many things, right? So then it was really cute because at least 3 times over the weekend, he spontaneously said, I just really want you to know, like, I'm really proud of what it is you're doing. Like, that was really good.
So cool.
That's
very funny.
So anyway, that was my little fun start to our podcast today.
Yeah.
What podcast? Oh.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I guess it just speaks to the, the busyness of life and stuff. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So on the note of friendships. Right? So it's funny because we had a conversation just ahead of this, and I'm actually experiencing what we're going to talk about as our sort of second question. Yeah. But first question is, so Vicki, have you experienced a change in how you value friendships, choose friendships, need friendships in this sort of stage of life? How have things changed for you?
Ooh, I think a lot, actually. But I also think that happens to everybody as you change and you grow and you have new experiences and new things that come up in your life. Like, I can look back and say, in college, for example, developed the most, I'm going to call them misfit of the island, or what is it, the Island of Misfit Toys group of friends who you would never take any of us separately and think, this group is going to be really dear friends. So now we're talking how many years later? So decades with these ladies. Do I see them? We maybe make it work once a year, honestly, at this point. But these women have seen every bit of me, authentically me, and would give me a kidney. So I'm super lucky to have them. I don't have a big season of life. Like everybody's doing their own thing. But then through the years, you know, you go through and you have kids. And I have my mom friends.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, same thing. Never see them. I stalk them on Facebook and watch what they're doing and think, oh my gosh, I love you. And those women were with me in a season as well. And I love them. And I know that they also would show up for me and I would show up for them. So I have that sort of friends. But it's interesting as an adult, right? Because you have your work friends. And then you develop your friends at the gym. You have these other kinds of friendships that you develop. I have running friends. But I think what evolves is what I'm looking for. Like, I really treasure deep,
Yes.
authentic connection.
Yes.
And I can tell you on one hand, I have one hand of friends that know who I am and what's happening in my life beyond what's happening in Facebook on a deep level.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I can show up with all of my mess, with being in an ugly space,
Yeah.
with broken parts of me. I'm going to cry.
Oh, I do have tissue. I have a used one in my pocket.
I'm so blessed for everyone that I just listed, all of it.
Yeah.
But it's so important to have rich ones like that
Yeah.
you can say, here's my mess. And I also am so available to them too for their mess.
Yeah.
And I don't see it as mess. And I
Yeah.
love them through it and they love me through it. So yeah, I think I have lots and lots of friendships and people I would do anything for. But there's a short list that are really important.
Yeah.
I have one friend, we're going to call her MJ. She is somebody who I met through running. And although I enjoy like habit stacking, if you will, where we can get friendship time in while we're going for a jog or whatever.
Yeah.
And I love that. Also, I know that she, like me, shows up a certain way for people and people expect you to be your big self and happy and all the things, and she's got all the answers. And so I know if she calls and says, what are you doing? Like, I know immediately I'm getting a margarita or a jog. I don't know which, but she's not okay. Like that, she has blown over, her cup has run over, not in the good way, in the I have too much stuff.
Yep.
And I can do the same. And we have that.
Yeah.
And you can see that.
Yep.
I walk into the office.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, from 10 miles away, I can see you.
Yeah. The burden of the world is walking with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's really super important to have lots of people you surround yourself with that make you happy, but really important to have a select few that just get you and have always have your back.
Yeah. I found that there are changes, like the same sort of seasons, right? And you know, somebody was sort of really important at a certain stage in life, maybe when your kids were certain ages or whatever, and you're in activities. And then, you know, being okay with those friendships kind of moving to sort of the periphery of your life. There's nothing that bad happened. It's not like, you know, you're not friends any longer, but you're not day-to-day friends, right?
It's tough. Isn't it weird, though? There's a little grief with it, too.
Absolutely.
And you wish no ill will, and you love them, but you're like a little FOMO.
So, so for example, you know, a dear friend of mine, her kiddo got married recently, right? And we have not been the day-to-day friends for a long time. Our kids have known each other for a long time. In the big scheme of things, we wouldn't get on the wedding list, right? Because we're just not day-to-day friends anymore. And you have to set a limit. And I'm looking at pictures of her, and she looks drop dead gorgeous, mother of the bride. Oh my goodness. Like, you know, and so there's no sense of like, oh, I wish that I had gone kind of thing. There isn't any of that. It's like I'm beyond thrilled and happy. But at the same time, there's a little voice in my head that was like, you dropped the ball on that friendship, right? And nothing bad, just not nurturing the friendship.
Sure.
So then, dealing with my own sense of, my first thought is you're a crappy friend, you got what you deserve, right? Which is not a good thing, and it's not the truth. But I think we have to be careful about that, and it's funny, I have another dear friend, and we had a good conversation about it, and she said, I know, like, you have a life, you're super busy, you're doing your career, and you are busy, and I am busy, but that doesn't excuse me from trying to nurture friendships, right? So then it gets back to which kind of friendships should we nurture? Which one, right?
I think that you can't have this global sense of guilt about every single person you used to know that you're not spending time with. And I think, honestly, like, we talk a bunch about where are you putting your stones? Are you putting effort into your friendships? I think it's only problematic if it's problematic for you. So what I mean is, if I have a season where I'm really busy and I'm really invested in what's happening in my family and in my job and all of those pieces, totally happy and content with that, great. But if I'm legitimately missing, and really sad about not getting these connection times with friends,
Yes.
that's when we have to stop and say,
Yes.
what is taking up so much of my time that I'm neglecting that part of my life, right? So
Yes.
does
Yes.
it fit you? So this season of life may not be conducive to doing 27,000 social things,
Yeah.
and it's okay. But if it's not okay, what can I rearrange to make my life more conducive to allowing it in?
I think for me, that has come up several times. Like, how we do the Wheel of Life, right?
Yeah.
And in the Wheel of Life, there's one section that's family and friends. And I always split it.
Yeah.
Because I think they're two separate, how we
100%
spend our
agree with
energy,
that.
family and friends is very different. So I always score myself poorly on my satisfaction with my effort on friendships, always. And, and I sort of say, okay, so you're not satisfied with how you're nurturing your friendships. What's the next step? What are you going to do?
Right. What can you do to change it?
So I decide, well, I'm going to text more often. I'm going to, make comments on Facebook more, whatever, like tangible things. And then, it works for a little while, but then I sort of get back to my own pattern. As providers who work in an industry where we are dealing with a lot of people and, quite frankly, I talk all day or I listen to people all day. At the end of the day.
So valid.
It's really hard for me to talk on the phone at night. Like, I'm not.
Oh my God, I hate talking on the phone. I'm just going to be full transparency to all of my friends. I love you.
Yeah.
I never want to talk on the phone.
If I've been on vacation or if it's, maybe Sunday afternoon and I've had a couple of days when I haven't been talking, but if I roll in at like 6:15 at night and I'm always hungry, like that's the first thing is I need to eat.
And you've expended your energy for that social situation.
Yes.
Text me. Send me a funny meme.
Yes.
By all means.
But to your point, right? Then if my husband is away, because my husband and I spend all the weekends together, like we hang out together. If he's away, I'm lost.
Wow.
I feel I don't have anybody I can call. I feel lonely. Then I start the big, and
then you're kind of wondering, where did my friends go? And
I don't have. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's Saturday afternoon. I don't have anybody that I can do anything with.
That.
Right?
I do get that.
And I'm like, all right, so you can't blame anybody else for this, Kim. Like, if you have no one to call on a Saturday night, it's because you haven't fostered the day-to-days, right? Like. I have a best friend that lives in Florida.
Yeah, mine's in Maine.
Yeah,
I will get on the phone with
that. And I do. And I have a best friend that lives in Nova Scotia, and we travel together, which has been fantastic. And I have my Greek ladies, and we're traveling together soon. But I don't have the ability. I can't just like pick up my phone and text and say, "Hey, do you want to go for dinner?" I don't have that anymore.
Right.
And that's hard.
So that's one area where you would coach yourself, right?
Yes.
To like do a little bit. But it's you would not come home excited after a Saturday night dinner where people talked about skincare in their hair.
No.
What's the quality? Like, it's not that everything needs to be a deep conversation, but that's important. I'm not super big into superficial.
Yeah.
I have like two friends, Xander and Diane. We dive deep. Like, it's like huge. We dive super deep when we get together. I don't need that. That I get such great spirituality experience sort of out
Yeah.
of. But I don't need that, like, at Pressed Cafe for an hour over salad.
Yes.
But I need something that's more than just,
So,
I don't know, small talk.
Yeah, remember when we were in Dallas
Yeah.
with the girls? That was a like we
Yeah, that
literally
was really cool.
laughed for 3 straight days.
Yeah.
I want conversations that go deep fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want like, hey, what's going on with you? And I'm fine. Like all's great with me. Well, I don't, I want to get into like what's really going on with you and how's your world and how you feeling? Like how's your humanness? How like I want that sort of deepness, the connection, right? Like you, I'm not.
No, and so that's where
I don't
you
want to do
pick and
FOMO
choose.
stuff either. Like, yeah.
When you're with somebody, so this is how I kind of gauge something. How do I feel when I leave that encounter?
Enriched.
Do I feel recharged, rejuvenated? Like I will tell you, like last week for whatever one day, and it's most days like this. My gym, it's an hour of HELL, a little bit. Like it's tough stuff. We're doing hard things. But I left and my stomach hurt from laughing and some of the ab work we did, but also from laughing. Like it's good energy people. And there are people who are not necessarily, they're sort of, you can have people who are draining in your life. So you have to be super mindful of how does it feel to be with that person.
Yes. And I think that we've all experienced that where we've had friendships that at some point we realize that they're too much. Right? That it feels like all the oxygen's out of the room, one-sided maybe. I'm not exactly sure how that is. And those ones I think are easier sort of to make peace with the season. They were
And being
valuable
like,
for a
okay, that
season. That was a great season.
And it doesn't have to be falling out,
yeah.
negativity, and any of those things. I think one other point too is just having friends that have realistic expectations of where you are. Because for me, I can't, again, I'm in the sandwich generation. I don't know what's coming up. I've taken care of people all day long, maybe taking care of a child.
Something to do with your mom, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I don't text you back, I can't have people right now who are annoyed that I haven't texted back more frequently or, right? So I'm very thankful that I don't think I have really anybody at this point who feels that way. I just don't have it to give. So I know that in this season of life, I don't have it to give. And I also don't think in any other season of life I'm going to have it either, where I want to have friendships that have really high expectations. Because it's just, we need to be, I love when you can see somebody and totally pick up, like.
And it's funny too, because we were talking sort of about the social media piece, right? So, using social media to see your kids, your friends' kids getting married and babies and stuff. I love that part.
I do too.
But I'll have somebody say, well, oh, did you know that, this happened? Did you see it on Facebook? I'm like, no, I don't. Yeah. I wish that I did. Like, I wish that I was sort of better at that. And I'm sure the algorithm, provides me with like,
Let's
whatever.
Be real.
Like
our Facebook is solely menopause products at this point. Like you have to really scroll through to find what your friend's doing.
I get things. I don't see that, and I don't spend a lot of time on it either. It's not necessarily a preference of mine. So okay, let's talk a little bit about just how if somebody is feeling kind of like me, right? Like a little bit of guilt with not nurturing friendships as we think we should. And there's that bad word should, right?
I don't like that.
And I know, but where do we start, right? So somebody, like me, what might be a next right step to feel like I am responsibly nurturing friendships. I'm protecting myself for the future. Like, what if I ended up a widow, right?
Right.
And I don't have my best friend.
You don't want to find yourself that the only person you have in your life is your husband.
And he's gone, right? Yeah. So maybe, where do we start?
What about you talk about lists and planning?
Yeah.
What would it look like to reach out to and really make a list of like people who really you're like, oh my gosh, every time I see that person, I laugh so hard and they're such a great, I could think of dozens of and you reach out And you just say, hey, I've been thinking about you. I saw that funny thing you posted on Facebook. I have been so busy, but I need to make time for friendships. I would really love it if you would get coffee. But my girlfriends from college, we just had brunch, and it was like parting the Red Seas to get everybody's schedule aligned, and only a few of us could make it. But we were talking about doing a little getaway overnight to do Christmas shopping. And I'm like, we need to just make this happen. Sometimes
maybe even, one of my friends, she was very clever. She's very sports minded. And so when she wanted to kayak, she bought 2.
Oh, that's smart.
Right?
I
so
like that.
Yeah, so she could call a friend and say, hey, I have 2 kayaks. You want to go kayaking?
Sure.
As opposed to I want a kayak. I want a friend. I got to find a friend who has a kayak. I think she did the same thing with a bicycles or whatever. She has an extra bike. So if she's like, do you want to go for a bike ride? And the person's like, I don't have a bike. I have an extra bike.
Right.
So maybe even things like that. I bought 2 tickets for a show at the Palace. Would you like to go? And then just keep finding, keep going till I find someone that does. Maybe I ought to do things like that.
Or something that's reoccurring too. Like maybe you have a friend that you're like, oh, I found this place, and every Tuesday night they do trivia.
Yeah.
So if you just start some of that stuff back up. And I think again, I'm in that same place where my husband and whatever takes up a lot of socialization time, but it is important to have that. So we'll have to do some more brainstorming.
We will. I think so. Even something that doesn't take a lot of, when I was younger, believe it or not, I threw a lot of dinner parties. I did a lot of socializing at my house. I had a lot of people over, and I would do things, and according to Joy, I did them easily. That overwhelms me. The thought of having company and stuff.
No, I did all the Halloween parties.
Yeah.
I had the big this, that, and the other. I don't actually want to do.
No.
I gave away my Halloween stuff. That was a great season for me.
Yep.
I don't want to put that much. And I look back at some of the energy that went into that. I don't necessarily have it right now.
No.
But something different. Again, what if it's a bring your own potluck with some of your favorite friends, and you have the person come out who does those naughty toy parties. I mean, just
we have I was thinking too, we have the wellness cottage.
I know.
We have the upstairs space.
Yeah.
Why not just have a once a month potluck, and whoever wants to show up upstairs and whatever. So
to reconnect with you, because we do need connection, and I do think a lot of where we're headed is where are we social? We're on our phones.
Yeah.
2020 happened, pandemic. I think that shut down a lot of socialization for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But we need connection.
We do.
So we need it reasonably so. We need to do it without guilt.
Yeah.
And we need to make time for it if we're not, and it's important to us.
And I don't know if you've listened to some of the Blue Zone stuff. They look at diet and they look at all the different things, but it all comes down to connection too. The people that live in Blue Zones have community. They are very well connected. Yeah. So we know there is association between good health and feeling connected. Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Maybe I will fix my feelings of not nurturing friendships well. Maybe I will
we'll have
work
a potluck. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
You can join us. Thank you for joining us today. It was really nice to sit and just kind of talk generally about friendships. We have a lot more to come. We have several more episodes that we already are cooking in our brains. So be well, take care of yourself, and thank you for being here.
Thanks for spending time with Vicki and I today on Fated to Fabulous, where midlife is just the beginning of your boldest chapter yet. If you got something out of today's episode, we'd love it if you'd share it with a friend and leave a review. Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking for more support, inspiration, or sisterhood, come join us at fatedtofabulous.biz, because you were never meant to do midlife alone. Until next time, stay fabulous.